Hello everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another lesson in our ongoing French course. So in many of the past lessons, we've been working with irregular verbs in the present tense. And there are quite a few important irregular verbs in the present tense. We're getting towards the end of all of those introductions to those irregular verbs. And in this lesson is just more of an informational lesson. I want to show you the verb dormir, which means to sleep. And I'm also going to show you several other verbs that are irregular and are somewhat similar to the way dormir is conjugated in the present tense. So we're going to take a look at all those verbs very quickly. Okay, so these are all irregular verbs. Dormir is an irregular verb, and that means you just have to memorize the form. So let's get started. So the first form here is dors, je dors, which means I sleep, je dors. You sleep, tu dors. Notice it's the same form, same pronunciation. Dors, dors, je dors, tu dors. Il, elle, on dort. Same pronunciation, different spelling. So dort, dort, dort. Same pronunciation. So he sleeps, il dort. She sleeps, elle dort. One sleeps, on dort. Nous, nous. We sleep, nous dormons. Dormons. Nous dormons. We sleep. Vous dormez. Dormez. You might recognize this form from the song Frère Jacques. Dormez-vous, dormez-vous? Brother John, are you sleeping? So, vous dormez, dormez. And then finally, il, elle dorment, dorment. They sleep. Okay, so now let's look at some other verbs that are conjugated in a similar fashion. They're all irregular, which means you're going to have to memorize the forms. And again, you just do this through practice. Okay, so the verb mentir, to tell a lie. Very important verb, mentir. So here are the forms. Je mens, tu mens, il, elle, on ment. Notice the pronunciation. Ment, ment, ment. Je mens, tu mens, il ment. We lie, nous mentons. Vous mentez, you lie. And they lie, il, elle ment. So just to review the pronunciation, ment, 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 menton, monter, mente. Next verb, partir, to leave or to depart. I leave, I depart, je pars, pars, je pars. You leave or you depart, tu pars. He leaves, she leaves, one leaves. Il, elle, on part. Again, notice the pronunciation of the first three. Part, part, part. We leave, we depart. Nous partons. You leave, you depart. Vous partez. And they leave or they depart. Ils partent, elles partent. Let's review the pronunciation. Part, 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 partons, partez, part. Part, 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 partons, partez, part. Next verb, sentir. This means to feel or to smell, just depending on the context. So I feel or I smell, je sens, je sens. You feel, you smell, tu sens, tu sens. He feels, he smells, she feels, she smells, one smells. Il, elle, on sent. Notice the pronunciation, sent, sent, sent. We feel or we smell, nous sentons. You feel or you smell, vous sentez. They feel or they smell, ils, elles sentent. Let's review that pronunciation. Sent, 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 sentons, sentez, sent. Next verb, servir, to serve. Je sers, I serve, you serve. Tu sers. He serves, she serves, one serves. Il, elle, on sert. We serve. Nous servons. You serve. Vous servez. And they serve. Ils servent. Elles servent. So we have sert, 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 servons, servez, serve. And again, the only way you get that is just through practice. So keep repeating. The more you repeat, the better. Okay, last verb in this lesson, another very important verb, sortir, which means to go out. And this can mean to go out as in exiting a place, or can also mean to go out like going out on the weekend with friends. Okay, so I go out, je sors, je sors. You go out, tu sors, tu sors. He goes out, il sort. She goes out, elle sort. One goes out, on sort. We go out, nous sortons. You go out, vous sortez. And they go out, ils, elles sortent. Pronunciation review. Sort, 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 sortons, sortez, sortent. Okay, well, that's it for this lesson. Remember, the only way to be able to use these in a conversation is to spend some time practicing beforehand, practicing with the forms, and thinking about situations in which you would use them. Remember, the imagination is a very powerful thing. So use your imagination to think about situations in which you would use these verbs and just practice, repeat. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, I would appreciate it very much if you give it a like or maybe a hype. To go on to the next lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. See you soon. À bientôt.